There is barely a mention of it in the May 20th, 2004 edition of the San Jose Mercury News. Just 2 paragraphs about the body of a priest found the day before at the base of San Jose's Civic Center garage. Little mention because news organizations try not to give too much attention to what appear to be suicides. Indeed, within a day, the medical examiner confirmed it. Father James Chevedden had jumped to his death from the 6th floor of the garage.
The Bible was found right by that left lamp post.
But what took the coroner less than 24 hours to decide is something still questioned 7 years later by the dead man's family.
You just can't explain the physical evidence.
John Chevedden is Father James Chevedden's brother. Father Chevedden was a Jesuit for more than 37 years, serving more than 2 decades as a missionary in Asia. But in 1995, Father Chevedden suffered a breakdown. Brought back to the United States, he was ultimately placed here, the Sacred Heart Jesuit Center in Los Gatos. Normally a home for older or ill or priests in transition, Sacred Heart housed another group Chevedden soon discovered, Jesuits accused of sexual misconduct.
That's correct, and he wanted to actually leave.
Ray Hassan is an attorney hired by the Chevedden family to sue the Jesuit order over his death. The suit claims when Father Chevedden protested the presence of the accused priest, he was labeled a troublemaker, a possible whistleblower. It claims Father Chevedden was even sexually assaulted himself at Sacred Heart, then forced to remain in the same community with his alleged attacker.
He was humiliated. Everything that he ever believed in his life was torpedoed and dissembled, and he was placed into emotional shock on a continuing basis.
All those things, the lawsuit claims, created such a hostile environment. That is what led Father Chevedden to take his own life. The church eventually settled the case, the family's attorney saying they paid out more than $1 million. The Jesuits declined to talk about the case, but others come to their defense, saying Father Chevedden's history of mental illness, indeed a previous suicide attempt, are indications of just how troubled a person he was to begin with. But the end of the lawsuit was not the end of the story.
After the lawsuit is settled, then further information comes about.
Investigators hired by the Chevedden family came up with evidence they say was inconsistent with the suicide. No note, wounds to Chevedden's face that weren't explained by the fall, the fact a witness saw Chevedden falling but never reported seeing him jump. And finally, the family claims a police investigation that was rushed and incomplete.
They didn't do really any investigating on it. They never called the crime scene unit.
And the family contends they didn't interview one person in particular, Father Gerald Lindner. Lindner is in the news these days because a man who accuses Lindner of molesting him as a boy allegedly assaulted him at Sacred Heart last year. Lindner, it turns out, was also the man who drove Father Chevedden downtown the day of his death, the last member of the Jesuit order to see him alive.
The police ought to ask Father Lindner about about that day, the day of my brother's death.
But that right now seems unlikely. I talked at length with the San Jose Police Department about their investigation, and they say it was by the book for an apparent suicide. A spokesman said if the San Jose Police Department had uncovered any sign of foul play, Father Chevedden's death would have been investigated as a homicide, but no such evidence ever came to light. They consider Father Chevedden's death a closed case with no plans to reopen it.